Hello and welcome to today's GIMP text effects tutorial. My name is Chris Parker and I have another awesome tutorial for you. So check this out. Today, I want to show you how to add text on a curved path with the most recent version of GIMP. When you're done, you'll know how to add text to a path and more. So, are you ready to master this GIMP text effect? Awesome, let's do it. All right, let's start off by creating a new document with Command or Control and the letter N, or go up to File and select New from here. For the size, I'm going to do 1920 for the width, 1080 for the height. We're going to click on Advanced here because I want to make sure that my resolution is set to 300. Now, if I'm working on a project that is going to be used only for online use, which requires a resolution of 72, I'm still going to use 300 for the resolution when I'm working with graphics or text, and that's because GIMP is a pixel-based software and it's not going to render that text crisp and clear at a lower resolution because, unlike Photoshop, it cannot render vector files or graphics because GIMP is only pixel-based. So my recommendation is 300 resolution anytime you're adding text if you want that text to be crisp and clean. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and click OK. Now the background layer here is white for me. For you, it may be different. That's fine because we're going to do something a little bit more different or creative other than a solid color. So here I created a gradient from one color to another. So let me show you how I did that. First, let's pick out our color. So I'm going to click on our color swatches here. The first one is the foreground color, which is set to black right now for me. Yours, again, may be different. So from here, I'm going to choose a light blue color. If you want to use the same color, here's the hexadecimal number for that. Just type in this right here. Now I can change my background color as well without leaving this panel by clicking on the background swatch right here. So for this one, I'm going to choose a darker blue color. So maybe something like that. Here's the hexadecimal number for that. Now that I have that, all I have to do is come over here to my toolbar and select my gradient tool, which is grouped together with the bucket fill tool. Now, if your tools are not grouped together like this, I recommend updating to the latest version of GIMP for this feature. It's worth it just for this alone, because it cleans up the interface. It's not as busy because you don't have 30 plus different tool icons in this panel right here. They're grouped together by similar types of tools, and you can also adjust this panel so it looks more like Photoshop and condensed like that. For now, I'll leave it like that, and I will select the gradient tool. The only problem is when I go to select it, that menu disappears. So click and hold down your left mouse button and that menu will stay open. You can either grab the tool from here or use the keyboard shortcut, which is the letter G. All right, now that I have my gradient tool selected, we have a couple of different things that we need to set up in our tool options and the gradient panel. So I have my gradient panel already over here. If you don't have this option, go to Windows, Dockable Dialogues, and select Gradients from down here. Once you have that panel open, you want to come down here and select foreground to background RGB. If you have this one selected, it's going to be a hard edge transition from one color to the other. Here, it will be a smooth color transition from one to the other. So GIMP is going to take your foreground color and fill in different colors that are darker than it until it gets to that dark background color. Now down here in the tool options, we want to make sure we have radio selected. So go ahead, click on this menu and select radio. Now I can come over here and click and drag out the gradient. So it's automatically being applied, but it's not set yet until you hit enter or return. So it's giving you some options here to customize this gradient before you commit to the gradient. So you can adjust the feathering from light to dark by making it longer or shorter by clicking on this outer point here and adjusting that line shorter or longer. You can also change the feathering or the transition from one color to the other to be softer or harder by going to the center line until you see that circle and circle. Click here, and then when you drag it out this way, that feathering you can see is much harder from one color to the other. So I'm going to go ahead and move this back close to the original position, which was 50, which we can see up here. Now that I've made these adjustments here, if I click enter or return, it will then disappear. Now the only problem is I want to place that gradient directly in the center so that the light color is in the middle versus off center right now. So I need to add a couple of guides to help me visually see where the center is versus trying to eyeball it. So we're going to add a couple of guides by going up to Image, Guides, New Guide, and by default horizontal is selected. 50 is the default, which is what we want. When we click OK, we should see a gradient, but we don't. And that's because I have it turned off. So we're going to go up here to View and select Show Guides, and that shows the horizontal one. Let's go back up to Image, Guides, and select Vertical. All right, so that's dead center. Now I can click and drag out a new gradient, and it will automatically replace the other one. So something like that looks pretty good. If I want to make adjustments to this, again, I can. And the other thing is I can change the colors from dark to light versus light to dark by clicking on this icon right here, which is going to reverse it. I don't want to do that. So I'm going to put it back, but when I click enter or return this time, it's adjusting the reverse, and we can see these little dotted lines around the icon. It's activating this tool option, and every time you hit enter or return, it's just going to continue doing that. So you have to click on this little icon right here to close that out. Click on this endpoint again, and then click enter or return to deactivate that tool. It's kind of a pain, but that's what you have to do to get around that. All right, let's hide these guides. I don't need to see them anymore. And now let's add our text. So I'm going to grab my text tool, and I'm going to come over here and set up my settings for that text that I want to add. So I'm going to use this font, Montserrat Heavy. You can use any font you want. The size is going to be 100. Then for the color, I'm going to choose a bright yellow color. So maybe something like that. Now I can come over here and begin typing what I want to add for that path. So let's do how to add text along a path. All right, that'll work. So I'm going to hit my escape key to get out of that tool. I'm going to grab my move tool here, or with the keyboard shortcut, which is the letter M. I just want it out of the way because I don't want to have my path go over the top of this text layer, because it's going to make things a little bit harder when we go to add it to that path. All right, let's grab our path tool right here and click one time, and you get this little anchor point. Now to create the path, you need to create another anchor point. So I'm going to click and hold down my left mouse button to get that line from left to right. Now the reason why I'm holding down my mouse button is because I want to bend that line. So if I drag my mouse over to the right here, we can see two handles here that allow us to bend that line. Once I release, I have a nice little curve, and I'm going to start over here again to add another one. So click, hold, and drag to bend the line, and then maybe right here again. All right, that looks pretty good. Now we can begin applying the text along the path. First, we need to right-click on our text layer and select text along a path. Now we have all these circles over our text, and we can't read the text, but the text hasn't been placed on the line yet. We still have a couple more steps. Now, these little circles, in case you're wondering, if you click on it and drag it, you're actually reshaping that character. We don't want to do that, at least for this project, so Command or Control and the letter Z to undo that. So now, in order to apply the text along the path, we need to fill it in with pixels or color. Now remember, I said previously in the beginning that GIMP is pixel-based software. Well, we need to fill it in with colors or pixels in order to apply that text along the path. So to do that, the first thing we need to do is we need to select the path that we created, or at least apply the selection to the letters of that path. Because if we go to our paths panel right here, we can see our path right here. Now, if you're not seeing this paths panel, come up to Windows, Dockable Dialogues, and select Paths from here. So this first one right here, we can't see. If I turn it on and select it, we can see this red outline. So that's the path. If I go back and select this one, that's the path of each letter that's going to be applied along the original path. So we want to turn it on as well so we can see it. So just click on this first square right here. All right, now we need to click on this icon here to create a new layer. Let's call it text path and make sure it's set to transparency and click OK. Now we need to make a selection of that path. Easy to do, just click on selection from path. Now we can see those dancing ants that represent that content being selected. Let's go grab our bucket fill tool. Circles disappear and we're left with the selection and the outline of the path. I'm going to use the same color that I use for the text up here, and I'm just going to click inside one of the selections and it automatically fills it in. Two more quick steps. Let's go back to our paths panel so we can turn off that path so it's not visible. And then let's deselect our text. Select none, and there you have it. How cool is that?